So let me start recording and we can get back to the session. So let me share screen with you. Okay, let me log this out. Okay. Okay, let me mute on this and we can use on my other computer. Okay, hope everyone can hear me and so sorry about the hiccup. Awesome. Okay, let's continue. I think I was, let me see, let me check the battery too. Okay. My battery is alright, so it shouldn't have any issue. So let's go back to what we were talking about. Okay, so computer vision is definitely there. NLP, text analysis, as we mentioned in the couple weeks ago, and Bing search. That what I wasn't expecting at all, because nowhere in here that they show that there is Bing searches. But just in case, if this is the questions that will count as score, then please take a look at it. It doesn't have much content in it, so I don't know. I don't know what was the question. I think it was a business scenario where they ask, like, if the company want to build a web search for specific content, then which tools do you use? In that case, I'll give you some hint after that. So speech, speech conversational AI, Q&A, bot synthesis. So Anne went through this content yesterday. So please have a look at her slide for that. And of course, Azure machine learning. So Yolanda, have you have experience with the Azure services yet? Have you explored Azure and how it works and the naming way of Azure naming? So, oh, okay, no outside lab, that's all right. So just a head up, if you want to take Azure's exams in general, Azure naming is very, very confusing. So, when I talk about Azure machine learning, it's actually a component in Azure. It's named machine learning. So it's very different in AWS, like you have like SageMaker or things like that. Like you look at the word and for sure it's not, it's a service, it's not a general concept. So unfortunately, we don't have that in the Azure. So we just have to learn the name by heart. Okay. So algorithm, so classification, clustering, regression. Oh, hi Kennedy. We are talking about the interview that I have this morning with Sandeep, who took the AI-900, and I'm going through my discussion with him and the highlights and what we should adjust to better prepare for the exam. So we will spend about 10 minutes to walk through this, and then we will go back to our session. So algorithm, so pay attention on classification, clustering, regression, and also vocabulary like label, features, and I have a list of that in the later slides, and we can start talking and testing one another on that, so we make sure we have some clue in the upcoming test. So one thing is that they in this part they won't give you like like asking you like details of the parameters, but more on things like business scenario, like which scenario you will apply classification or which scenario you will apply clustering or regression, and we will also go through it today. And and you should know what is label, what's the feature when you apply it, and which algorithm requires label. And of course, drag and drop is they also test on Azure Machine Learning Designer, and from the document that I just checked, it seemed like Azure Machine Learning Designer is still on preview mode, and I'm quite surprised that they put this content in there. But since they put in there, we have to learn it by heart. So lesson 2, 3, 4 in our workspace Udacity will cover this part. So please pay attention to those 3 lessons. That also what Sandeep remarked to me today is that pay attention to lesson 2, 3, 4, lesson 7, which is about responsible AI, and also Microsoft Learn. Make sure you go through the quizzes and also pay attention to the labs. Like if you do all of those things, you will pass the exam all right. So yeah, so pay attention. Again, lesson 2, 3, 4, 7, and Microsoft Learn. Hey, Muhammad Harris, so welcome to Joy, and we are going through some of the tips that I just interviewed Sandeep today. So bear with me for a few minutes more, and we will continue on the session. Okay, so also there's another issue is that the technical difficulties while you were taking the test, there were technical difficulties, and I have heard from so many people have negative reviews on the Pearson View platform. So please log in early, 30 minutes before the test to test the system. Also have the number of the test taking center handy, and have a way to contact them in the emergency case, so that you don't miss the test. And I have heard like so many people almost like I follow okay, I'll show you a very good platform for you to also study all the certificates on the Azure. This platform is not so good on the data related certificate, but then other certificate on Azure, they are excellent. So the guy who hosts this channel is his called let me see, I suddenly forgot him. Oh, Scott Duffy. So he's a Microsoft certified trainer, and he trained on like architect administration certificate on Azure. He doesn't do much on like data engineer, data science, things that we are usually interested in this channel. So yeah, but then still like signing here, you can see a lot of people who taking the test. Oh, also see another person who finished the AI-900, and I was asking him too. So he was also saying that Microsoft Learn is a very good material. So pay attention to that. But anyway, from the forum, I have read so many comments regarding to the issues on the platform. So through this interview today, this even concrete the stronger idea on me that maybe there's some issue with the platform. So for those who register for the test already, please make sure to have the number handy, log in 30 minutes before. Okay, the next one is the details that surprise him. So the details that surprise him is a framework. So in the class, we only talk about individual components of the feature in the cognitive service. But in the exam, there would be like multiple components, linked together, and how to use this and that, and how you arrange like in the business case scenario, whether you use sentiment analysis before both service or vice versa. So again, the material he thinks that is more relevant is Microsoft Learn and lesson 2, 3, 4. But I think in this case, maybe we need to start to think of like how to link those services together, which come first and which come later to perform the business need. So this is one thing that we haven't covered in class, and unfortunately, I don't think we will have time for this. So pay attention for this. Okay, and which part he wish he studied more is text analysis. And yeah, so we have a very short time on text analysis also, because computer vision, we studied first, and then text analysis, we only have yesterday's session. and I don't think we have time to go through with it again. So, pay attention for that. Also, try to identify the examples that, for example, that I mentioned in the earlier time of this session. So, large document size, what do you guys use? So you guys still remember that, which API that I mentioned earlier in this class, what we should use for large document size? Here, no wrong answer. He give me the answer. Just guess, then I'll tell you the answer after that, and you will remember more. So remember, oh, okay, I have one answer. Oh, not yet, okay. Here, remember I was mentioned earlier on the regarding to the text. Okay, here, let me go through computer vision marathon. Okay, it's related to this one. Which API do you use to read text heavy documents up to 2,000 pages? And Saga, Yolanda, sorry for calling on you guys because you have been here. Read API, yes, correct, Saga. Congratulations, you remember, you are well prepared. Okay, yes, read API. So those are the questions that will be similar to the exam business scenario, and they will give you like very vague requirement, and you need to link those with the terms that we learn in class to analyze and give the API. Speech synthesis, we briefly go over it yesterday. Please also review on that. So what did you overstudy? That was a question for me for Sandeep. So vision and custom vision, he studied a lot of custom vision because he wasn't sure when he would select custom vision, when he would select computer vision. So those are very small component. And also he encountered some questions about face API, like for example, if the company want to find some similarity face and which they would use. I think I have linked that question in the here in the one of my quizzes. Yes, I don't. Yeah, I didn't. I only have the face. But anyway, so pay attention to computer vision for face recognition because it will also be the one of the questions. Let's see what else. Yes, was the question on provisioning resource. So as you go through Microsoft Learn, you have seen that, like which before you start any service, you have to create resource, and whether you use cognitive service resource or whether you use, individual resource that tailor specifically to computer vision to text analysis. Please go through the quizzes that I put in here. Microsoft, like almost in all of the quizzes, at least there's one question related to provisioning resource. So pay attention to those quizzes. These I just take directly from Microsoft Learn, so you can just go there and skip all of the slide and go to the knowledge content. You would get the same link. All right. So next one. Question on format input and output. Yes, in scenario only. They won't ask you like computer vision, which format they support. They don't ask that, but they only ask in scenario questions. So pay attention to that and try to build the link between the business scenario to the one that I highlight in class. Okay, question that related to algorithm, and again, it is a business scenarios, like companies want to group similar documents. So what algorithm you will use? So that is clustering, and we will go through this again in our class. So for specific parameter like F1, recon, AOC, there will no question on that. So we are safe. Those are very tough. And there also will be responsible AI. So lesson 7, there will be testing on business, on principle. So it's very different from others. Others mainly business scenario, but here we would they will test you principle. For example, what is fairness, what is just worthiness. So pay attention on the principle also for this. All right, so we go through with the tips from the past test taker. Do you guys have any questions or any comment that you want to add in before we move into other sections? Okay, so let's move in then. Please feel free to stop me if you have questions on the exam, because building a strategy is very, very important. No matter how your knowledge, I think going to the test, you should develop a strategy to pass it. Um, yes. So since Sandeep mentioned that there will be a component on web search, so that's why I built 2 slides on that briefly, so that everyone aware of that. So basically, web search in the cognitive service, they mainly for Bing search. So you can go through like here the different categories of API that support Bing. So there are 4 main APIs. So Bing Web Search, so they will return, like image, web page, videos, news, and it also includes filter capabilities. So you can filter out things that you want specifically, and if you want more specific type of content, you can use content specific Bing search, and I have the link here, so you can double check it out. And also, in more advanced, you have Bing custom search API. So it's focused only on content and topic and you care about, and others which is Bing auto suggest and Bing statistic. So these slides, I didn't have time to go deeper, and there also not much of resource in Microsoft, because I think it's a preview one. So I just link the link. I haven't seen anything that would trigger me in putting here as a special queue for the test. So basically, I guess you can remember specifically like the main 3 APIs, what they use. I think it will be safe for this one. Oh, I think this belongs here. Okay, so let's go to the core sessions of today is machine learning fundamentals, and also about Azure machine learning. So first, I want to introduce you to these pictures. The link is on the slide. You can download it here. It's a very big picture, so that's why I think they let you download. So in here, you can see the designer and how the concept work. Oh, also you will be test on designer. Designer is also a preview feature. So I guess you should go back and look at the preview feature. I skip it because I didn't think preview features could be in the test, but apparently they are. So please go back on the part that have preview features and that I haven't covered, because from the feedback now, it's for sure will be on the test. So we have here is machine learning in ML Studio. So ML Studio is a part of Azure Machine Learning. This is a service. So you can see that the algorithm that is support, so anomaly detection, classification, clustering, recommendation, regression, and statistical function. So go to it and see how the Azure Machine Learning Designer work. I'll talk more about it in the next few slides, but this is the overview, so you can double check your knowledge. So before we go deeper, please notice the type of data. So these slide I take directly through the class. And if you have go through session, I think lesson 2, then you will notice. Okay, let's go to the vocabulary. And these vocabularies I get from Udacity. The reason why I do this slide is because Sandeep was telling me that this will be tested. So, you know, features, what is label, but then it's not in like the form of what is, but it's in form of like, they give you example for like a table and they will ask you what is the label and what's the features. And you need to learn like these specific vocabularies to be able to identify them. And Udacity workspace have highlighted this very well. So please take a look at it. Do you guys want to go through it? And maybe we can have like a 10-second session where like you guys try to give me the answer, then we can take a look at it together. Or you guys want to review it on your guys' own? Is everyone is all right with we do like a quick quiz on that, on this? So for example, like, you know, data store, one person would explain like one sentence on what it is, and we double check on Udacity to make sure that our concept match, so that we will be prepared for the test. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, sure. Okay, so let's go. So please remember to go through these concepts, because especially, you know, what row code and what column is code is already in the Udacity. So basically, you know, a column in table can be refer features, and a row in table can refer some entities. This small thing, please pay attention for that. Okay, so three main algorithms. Classification, so basically it's for classify, regression is for predict, and clustering is for natural grouping. So those are the base concepts. What you need to really pay attention to is what it's used for. So classification, you can use fraud detection, you know, email spam detection, diagnose, regression for risk assessment, scoring, prediction, you know, unsupervised text mining, face detection, big data visualization, image recognition. So I have mentioned throughout the class that we have supervised learning, unsupervised, and reinforcement. So which in these need a label data set between supervised and unsupervised learning? What do you guys think? Yes. Good job, Kennedy. You remember. Awesome. So how do you select the algorithm for the test? How do you select it? I have found a very good blog here from Braden Rocher. Yeah, so Braden is the senior data scientist for Microsoft, and he wrote a blog on Blog Achieve here, machine learning blog. You guys, if you have interest in reading this blog, it's very, very interesting. So basically, this is the guideline on what algorithm you choose in which scenario. So pay attention for this well, because it's very close to what I discussed with Sandeep. So this part, especially the link tree, is very, very important. So I'll go through in here for you. So in this blog, there's a breakdown in like marketing, finance, and I think insurance too, operational effective. So in each energy forecast, so in each field in here, and it will be very, very similar to your test, because in your test there will be like section on finance, on not on finance, but section on the business, which they will identify like the situation of like what does the business do, what do they looking for, why they want that, and then based on that information you have to choose. So pay very well attention on this blog. I don't have time to go through everything, but go for this. Spend at least 2-3 hours on this. Make sure you remember these topics, because it will very helpful for you in the test. So you guys want to have some quiz to better understand on this? Okay, we can have some quiz here. So to select algorithm, also sorry. So additional way to select algorithm is based on accuracy, speed, and linearity. So Microsoft has a very good document on this, and hang on, I'll show you guys. Sorry, I have a phone call. Please give me a minute. Awesome, thank you, Kennedy. Yes, let's do some quiz so that we remember about this algorithm. So first, I want everyone to go to this slide, get the cheat sheet, because I think like remember the business scenario for this is very, very hectic. So why not we study together in class, you know? Okay. Oh, I just close it. Okay, that's a bad part. Like I spent like 1 hour reading this already, and I still can't remember. So I don't know how you guys gonna study for that. I think, well, for Sandeep it's easy because he already a data scientist, so you know it's not difficult for him. But for us who are not used to it, it might be some pose some issue. So basically, first you need how to select machine learning algorithm. So first you take a look at the algorithm cheat sheet to see which algorithm you need to select for your data. So remember, classification is for classify, regression is for prediction, clustering is for grouping things together. So once you know what you want to do with the data, so you need to consider additional requirements. So accuracy, which one have the excellent accuracy? There's no bad accuracy. There's just a good and excellent training time. Which one is moderate and which one is fast? Linearity. So linearity is the relation between the two objects. So whether it's linearly, whether it's display the linearity relationship or not, and you know number of parameters, number of features. So is everyone got this slide yet? Let me put this slide. Let me put this slide here, so it's together with the algorithm part. Okay. Yes, yes, this is the correct one. You should be able to get the algorithm cheat sheet too to be able to know which we do with that, and we will make up some scenario now in the class. Then we will try to see like which algorithm we're gonna use. And I would love for everyone to participate and discuss on, because we never know like what we will get in the exam, but then we can try to think about it together and discuss whether it's right or it's not right, and maybe we will remember it better. Yes, thank you, Kennedy. So you guys have this blog, right? Okay. So I want to go through some example first before we do we simulate some scenario. So predictive analysis. Actually, let's try to provide some example based on this too. So predictive analysis, you have life insurance, you have pattern recognition, you have property insurance, you have credit card fraud, air flies, predictive maintenance, healthcare. So let's try to think together. What are some examples of predictive analysis you have encountered? And
Um,
oh,
Stock exchange.
yes, welcome to the class.
Thank you so much, and I'm really sorry for being late.
That's
Actually,
all
we are
right. That's
suffering
all right.
from electricity shortage.
Yeah, don't worry. I was having computer breakdown too, but it's good that we all can be here. So just a quick 2 minutes what we have gone through. So we have gone through the tips from test maker. So today, not yesterday, today I interviewed Sandeep who successfully take the AI-900 test. So he gave me some tips on here. Then you can rewatch the videos to find out more. And we are going through a machine learning algorithm, and we are doing exercise on the quizzes on try to think of business scenario and see which algorithm we would select, because this is the major component in the exam. So let's start to build the link today, so that in the exam we have the link ready and we won't take so much time in thinking about it.
So, just a short question: how many of you guys have already registered for the exam, except the boss?
Oh, for you mean like register for the exam, right?
Yeah. So, how many of the participants have already registered?
I think, let me see, I think at least three of us. I know Saga had, and have I had. So, yeah, so, oh,
Awesome,
Kennedy,
Kennedy.
well, what date did you register for it? Oh,
Tomorrow.
tomorrow. We're gonna have another statistic point from you then. Okay, good luck for the exam. Okay, so you should be the, so we should, I should ask you many business case scenarios so you are well prepared for tomorrow. I'll,
Yeah,
Awesome.
thank you.
yeah,
Good luck to
I'll teach
everyone.
you. I will ask you many questions. So tomorrow you sit on the exam, you go, oh, it's so easy. Jade has told me about that.
Okay.
Okay, so okay, let's try it then. So we have to. I have some clustering and predictive examples. So let's try predictive example. Let's try pattern recognition. So what would you think of an application for pattern recognition that you have read or you have experienced lately?
From
Or
pattern recognition, do
maybe
you
something
mean
easier. Up to you guys. What do you want to select from the list or not from the list? Anything that you think of predictive analysis.
um, that's a very hard question.
Oh, okay. Let me. Let me give you. Oh, actually, I have the book on that. I have the huge book on this. So let me just open the book. It could be easier. I think it could be. Oh, actually, I'll try to send you guys this. It's a very good book on from Microsoft on the Azure machine learning. Oh, not this one. This one is just what I just downloaded. This one, Azure machine learning essential. So I get the example from here. So let's choose from the list here because I didn't put the example because I will try to play some activities. Okay, yes. So let's get the example right from here, then we can start. So, oh, there's OCR. Okay, let's try OCR. You guys all right with try text analysis case
Yeah,
study?
sure.
Okay, yeah, because we spent some good time on this. So, for example, we want to, let's see, we want to analyze menu. You know, like you go to restaurants, you have menu. So we want to read the menu. We don't want to like have someone to read it each page by each page. We want to have a tool to read it automatically. What service should we choose? Just think something basic first. Don't think overthink it.
Read API.
We have menus of restaurants. You know, we have menus, and we want, for example, to collect all of those menus in the restaurant around the city, and we want to build a tool to read it automatically. So we have the database of what food are served in the city around in the areas around us. So in the basic form, what service would you choose to use? So, I actually accidentally displayed the answer. So, what do you use?
OCR.
Good job, OCR. Why is that? Let's see the property of OCR. So, OCR, they're not supposed to read. So, OCR, they have read API that up to 2,000 pages. And so the difference between the OCR and
Read it.
I think analysis is that OCR they read the unstructured data. So you see like all of these are very unstructured, and this is what it should be used to OCR instead of form recognizer.
Uh,
Okay.
okay, Jane, I have a question. I mean, uh, in OCR section, there is written read API. So whether OCR is the service or read API is the service?
Good question. So I'll show you this. I'll tell you right now is one is the later is the older version. See, so OCR API is the older recognition model. So the new name now is the read API. What we are talking about is the concept. So the concept is OCR, and in there you have OCR API and you have read API.
So both are the services, right?
Yes. So OCR is the older one. It support more language. Read API is the newer one. It
So yes, you are saying.
Yes. So read API is a newer one. It's return the data asynchronously. So so you have to give it some reason. So you see execute asynchronously. So it's not return the result right away. It's processing in batch.
Okay, so it means that if we want to, analyze a thesis statement, like a very thick thesis statement, then we should go for read API. But in case of one-page document or two-page document, we should go for OCR, right?
You also need to consider about whether your document is structured or unstructured. Because if you use, if you have the unstructured, then we can use, okay, I'll show you. If we have unstructured data, if we have structured data, then it's better to use form recognizer.
Okay.
Yeah, so you also so basically in here you need to see whether it's structured or unstructured, whether it's how heavy is the document. Then you select the right component.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you so much.
So let's try the let's try a case now. So for example, in the same question, um, if you want to manually train your data, you know, you don't want to use cognitive service, you want to use Azure Machine Learning Studio, and you want to use OCR to recognize menu form. So which algorithm you will use, you will think you will use for this case? So remember on algorithm that we have. Yes. So think what is your goal in here? Try to think of a scenario and what would you use for that. So you want to collect the data in the menu. You have the data now, and you would be what you think is unsupervised. There's no right and wrong answer. Tell me why you think is unsupervised. So in here we have to see our goal. If our goal is to group the restaurants into dishes, for example, to see which restaurants serve which restaurant serve sandwich, for example, that is classification, right? If we want to see which predict the price of the menu, right? It could be regression, because regression is about predicting, and cluster things together. So it's you have to see the goal of the task also.
Um, Jane, I'm sorry to disturb you during the question. I have a question. Can you please
Yes.
guide me? The face recognition is written under dimensional reduction, and dimensional reduction is under unsupervised learning, right?
Which one? Oh, it
The
is
Yes,
recognition.
face recognition. But
Yeah.
I have learned that face recognition is a part of supervised learning, in which case that we give input and we train the model, and afterwards we ask the model to recognize, to classify actually whether the face is similar to a person or not.
That's true. Let me think about that, because I also copied this from data flare. So in face recognition, we have a case of classification, like you said, like we train the model to recognize similar faces. But how about we find which, for example, if we have a criminal and we don't know who is the criminal, and we try to find things that is most closer to him, then this is the form of predicting, right? So in form of predicting, isn't it the unsupervised learning?
Um, but in order to recognize, you have to first give the input, but in unsupervised learning there isn't any sort of particularly labeled input, right?
Oh, I see. Yes, that's true. It's a very good question. Let's see why face recognition is unsupervised learning. Excellent question, Muhammad.
So, Jen,
Yes.
I think I think why the concept of face recognition is put under unsupervised is because
Mm-hmm.
of application of dimensionality reduction.
Oh,
Because when you have the face, you need to reduce the dimensions to few ones. Hence, dimensionality reduction applies unsupervised learning. So it's only during the dimensionality reduction, but otherwise you'd still have to apply supervised to for the image to learn
Awesome.
the edges, the corners, etc.
oh, that's a very good catch. Thank you, Kennedy. Yes, indeed. It's a dimension reduction, then it's one of the field would be face recognition.
So it means that in order to reduce the dimensionality, we will generate a new face from the input, which will have lower dimensionalities as compared to the initial one. And afterwards, for the detection, for the recognition part, we will use supervised learning, right?
Well, it depends on the use case. I think like you can stop there to in the part unsupervised, or if you have further need, then you can combine it with supervised. So there are cases in the exam where you have to like combine different methods to create the result.
Okay.
Yes. But
Okay.
I think
Okay. It's completely okay. No problem. Time is valuable. You should move on.
yes, but I think Sandeep mentioned with me only the framework of combination in the cognitive service. I'm not sure if AI-900 would expect us to combine different method of different algorithms to produce a result. I think it would be very deep into machine learning. So yeah, so I'm not sure in this area. I'll double check with Sandeep again to see what he said. So okay, let's move on. So let's try another case. So a credit card fraud detection. So if you want to detect the credit card fraud detection in terms of like abnormal pattern, then for cognitive service, what would you guys use?
Fraud detection. Um, okay.
Anomaly.
Yes, anomaly detection, correct. So this is in the decision API, I believe. Let me double check. The name is very, very confusing. Azure Cognitive Service. Hmm, yes, decision anomaly detector. So, so now if we want to customize it and if we want to use on Azure Machine Learning Studio, then what algorithm would you think we want to use to detect the fraud?
I'm sorry. I didn't understand the question. Understand the question.
Oh, sorry. So, you know, if we want to detect credit fraud detection, and if we want to train the data from the crowd up, so you know, use Azure Machine Learning Studio. So based on the recommendation of Microsoft, you see here. So you have the data. What you want to do with the data? So you have to prefer to algorithm GC to see like which algorithm you can use to detect credit card fraud. And there's not one answer because it really depends on the use case. So basically, why I ask this is so that I would want you guys to simulate the situation like when you would use classification, when you would use regression, and when you would use clustering in the detecting credit card fraud. So let's see. Okay, classification as okay or fraudulent could be. So, what do you guys think? Uh,
Regression.
yes, when would you use regression on for credit card fraud?
Because we are predicting, right, that whether the user is going to have a credit card fraud or not.
Could be. So it's predicting whether that user gonna fraud you or not, right? Yes,
And,
that's
and, and the second thing is it's a continuous variable, right? It's not discrete because the monetary values are treated as continuous variables. Uh, let's say that in time series data analysis, it's simply like this. So we deal with time series as with regression algorithms, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, yeah. There's no right and wrong. Each case there will be different use of each algorithm. So what I just want to do is to simulate you guys to think of like which case it use what. So both of you guys answer is all right. Yeah, no wrong or right, no right or wrong. It's just basically to simulate you guys. Logistic. Harris, please explain to us why you think it would be logistic regression. Binary output. Oh, binary output. So you meant like whether they trick you or not, right? Yes, either yes or no. Good point. Good point. Anyone have other answer on that? So I just want to raise to you guys. So in each of these regression, cluster, and classification, in each of these there are different module where you can select based on the speed, based on the accuracy, based on the linearity. So it's worthwhile to take a look at this also. Okay, let's do five more, then we'll move on. I think let's spend another 15 minutes to build scenario. I think these are very good examples. So let's spend another 15 minutes, then we will move on to another section on the Azure Machine Learning Studio. Okay, so let's see. What do you guys want to do next? Healthcare. Let's do that. So healthcare, where you want to see, for example, um, predicting how how many cases of COVID-19 is already there in your city based on the number of patients you have now. So what would you guys use?
Regression.
Regression. Okay, I have one for regression. Anyone else for regression?
Due to risk assessment, because we are assessing the risk of the spread of COVID-19.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes. I think regression is the case here. So life insurance, you want to you want to see you want to predict a price for a person. So for example, if you go to buy the insurance, and each person will have the different life insurance package. So what do you think they use to get
Regression.
this parameter?
Um, Again, regression gene.
Regression. Do you think there would be classification? So
I personally don't think so. I mean, there are two things that can be applied. First one is regression, which I vote for, and the second thing is clustering. But
mhm.
here it's saying that you have to calculate mortality rates. Like, so from the word calculate, it's kind of misleading because the best thing would be either to predict or to group. So if you are looking forward to group like mortality rates or premiums, like how many people are going to pay the premium, so you can use clustering in order to classify each group that these are the people that are going to that are likely going to pay their premiums, and these are the people that are not likely going to pay the premium.
Uh-huh.
but here it's written that as calculating. So I'm guessing that it means that predicting, that you have to calculate that whether what is going to be the life expectancy. So that's
Uh-huh.
why I thought that regression would fit in.
Uh-huh. Uh, okay. So for my work though, a lot of case we use classification to predict the behavior of customers. So, to give a rate, we would go into like seeing where the customer belong to. So, their age, their age, their income, their, let me see, age, income normally would be like, so yeah, a lot of parameter, their sex, a lot of different parameters, and we have like outcome of each parameter combination to see like where the customer would belongs to, and then after that we predict out. So of course, like there's no one output, because we use a lot of like boosting and backing to reduce the output, to produce the output for that. So classification could be used in this case to like first to see which customer belong to what group.
Hmm. So for group classification, we use clustering, right? Because we make clusters of those who are going to pay and those who are not going to pay.
Oh, we also can classification is to classify to see like, like grouping is where you have a large pool. Well, grouping is where you
Oh,
have a large
yes,
pool of
yes, you
data.
are right. Yes, you are completely right. I'm really sorry. I understood classification from another perspective, but based on Azure, it's written that you have to predict a class. So yes, you can say that the one class is of people who are going to pay, and this another class is of people who are not going to pay. Right?
Yes. So basically that, and grouping is like you have a pool of data and you group the data together. But for predicting whether the customer to pay, I think you can use regression or classification.
Yes, of
Yeah,
course,
I'm,
of
I'm
course.
not, I haven't come across regression yet, but classification I do use. I do see a use on that.
Yes, actually, if you read the definite description, it's very clearly stated. Like to especially to all of the guys, I want to what I understood that if there is a question about predicting a value, okay,
Mm-hmm.
then we are going to use regression. Now value is a continuous variable like stock prices, it is continuously changing, so we are going to use regression. But
Mm-hmm.
let's say you have to identify two patient classes, like two type of patients, whether it's a patient of uh, let's say malaria. I made a model on malaria, so that whether a patient is of malaria or not, the binary output. So if we are going to predict a class, then we should go towards classification. If a value, then it's regression, and if it's a class, like a particular group of people, and we have to predict, not just identify, but predict. Then we are
Mm-hmm.
going to classify. If we have to identify, then we should go towards clustering, right?
Mm-hmm. I see. Yes. Yeah, and I'm still learning these algorithms day by day. So I'm looking forward to learn more from you guys, because I'm still like a lot of times I'm still confused about that, and yeah, it's very difficult for me also because I don't have like day to day hand on this. So
Actually, truly speaking, in 2 to 3 years of ML, what I have observed that there is no right thing or wrong thing in ML. Actually, it's all about the learning process. You have to try out different things.
mhm,
Many of the times, in problems that are not particularly of classification, you have to use CNN model, which is a classification model. But CNN works better in some of the cases when regression models do not give that much of accuracy. So you cannot you cannot label one algorithm for one use case. It's
mhm.
always dependent,
Yes.
like.
Yes, that's true.
It's my observation.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's why I want to facilitate the business scenario with different cases so everyone can come and discuss and sharing which algorithm it would be feasible to use depend on the use case.
And especially in the Intel, what I learned that we usually are taught that if one algorithm is for one thing and another algorithm is for another thing. But generally, all of these models works together. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I was taking Google, one of Google's classes, and the instructor said that Google is currently using maybe 1,800 models all in one. And it means that they are using all of the 1,800 models at a time. So it means that so many models, especially regression, classification, and clustering, they all work together in order to produce a solution. So
Mm-hmm.
you cannot say that we are going to use one algorithm and it is going to do all of the work. You have to, like, just now we have discussed life expectancy, let's say. So in life expectancy, first of all, we have to use clustering in order to identify the group of people on which we have to apply the different classification models. Let's say we are applying on people, the majority of the data is of 18 years of age. Now life expectancy, let's say we are predicting for an insurance company.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think? It's a right thing. We should first of all identify the groups which are relevant to our use case, and that's why we have to use clustering algorithm. And afterwards, we should use classification algorithm in order to predict the class which is more likely to purchase our insurance, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes, correct. So I would be very interested in find out how Microsoft would structure these questions because for me is if I have to pick one, it would be very difficult also.
Yeah, and I personally think so that this exam is of fundamentals. So they are not going to go into such in-depth use cases. I mean, the general concept is, of course, going to be tested, but in-depth use cases are less likely to come in the exam. That's my understanding.
Yes. So maybe we should ask question like, for example, if you want to predict sale forecast, what would you use, right? That it would be
Yes,
more simple, and would be
yes,
more similar to the AI-900 use case.
yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, let's try that. So for sale forecast, what would you guys use?
Regression.
Regression. Yeah, could be. And let me think of something else. But do you have some good suggestion on something that we can ask more for that? Mm,
Uh,
so let's.
Let me raise a question. Okay, let's say you in the exam you are given a question. Identify that. Let's identify the algorithm which detects whether a patient is of cancer patient or not. Which algorithm do you guys use
To detect, sorry, to detect what?
to detect whether a patient is of a certain disease or not?
Or to detect.
And I think it depends with the data that is provided. For example, if it's the images data that is provided, you would then use a deep learning algorithm like CNN. Uh, However, if it's tabular data that is provided,
Mhm.
maybe in an Excel sheet, and the tabular data has some inputs like coughing, yes or no, temperature, etc. Then you need to predict whether the person has a disease or not. That would be classification. Then you can use any of the classification algorithm like logistic regression, random forest regression, etc.
Well, first of all, thank you so much, Kennedy, for such uh, informative answer. But actually, I was I was asking from a very simple point of view. Don't I mean yes, we all know about ML, but just because of the sake of exam, we should come a little bit lower the stairs to the level of a fundamental student. I mean, let's say a student is of a fundamentals, and that's why we should think simply. It's very difficult, personally speaking, because once you know very much
Okay.
about topic, it's like it's simply please don't laugh, but
Yeah.
one of my teacher gave us an example that once he gave students in master's exam 2+2 question. Now, what do you think that if you are sitting in a master's finance exam and you get a question 2+2 equals to, what will you answer?
2 + 2 = 4.
The simplest answer would be 4, right? But you will be amazed to see that many people use that much of logic, and they came up with so many different solutions of 2+2, because they were thinking that it is not possible that in a master's exam a teacher can give a simple question like 2+2. That's why they applied many mathematical formulas just to identify what is 2+2. So this
Okay. Okay, Mohammed. So I get your point. You have a very good point. So I think what you are saying is the simple answer for detecting if one has a disease or not is simply classification,
Of course,
right?
that is the point. That's the main point. Uh, okay, guys, you should continue. I'm just going to come back in 5 minutes. Okay,
Okay,
thank you
sure.
so much.
Okay, I found something that maybe a website that maybe could simplify the method. So let me send to you guys, and maybe we can use this to have a few minutes more on algorithm. It's a very very confused part even for me too. Then we can move in. So I hope you guys can see mine. All right. So let's simplify the term here. So for example, if you want to text categorization, what do you guys use? Oh, I shouldn't send everyone that I exposed the answer already. Okay, here. Let's so text categorization. Okay, what do you guys use for text categorization? I think let's boil down to like really simple term. Hello, hello.
Wait, yeah.
Yes. For text categorization, what do you use?
Uh, I'm a bit confused in terms of Azure or in terms of algorithm.
Oh, sorry, in terms of Azure. Sorry, that's a very bad answer. In terms of Azure machine learning algorithm, so we have
Yeah.
classification, regression, clustering. In
Okay.
mostly three, what do you use for text categorization?
Okay. I would say classification.
It's actually well, the answer from the link is clustering. Let me see. So clustering is classify and inputs into categorize.
Yeah, because anyway. Okay.
Are you all right
Hmm.
with that answer? Are you all right with the answer, or you have other input on that?
Okay. I think I can check the link. I can check the link that you've shared.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So let's
Yeah.
try one more example before we move on. So for example, email spam detector. What do you guys use? Yes, classification. Awesome. Okay, one last round, we will go to the text sentiment analysis. What do you guys see? Don't look at it yet. Text sentiment analysis. Yes, happy set classification. Correct. That's the conclude of our example for the prediction for the algorithm. So Yolanda, there's a link. Let me show you. So it show like sentiment is like happy, sad. So this belongs to the classification section. So I hope the link will help you guys study for cases. And also I have this book. This book is available for free. Our link, the link of this book. So for clustering analysis, there are some example. I'll pull up the example for you guys because this book is from Microsoft. So I would think it's closer to their exam. Oh, okay. Anyway, I don't know, 31, 32, 33, 34. Okay, so there are more example on clustering that you can look at here. So download this book and look at some example of predictive and clustering, and hope it will help you in the business scenario exam candidate. So select algorithm. Again, you need to, in each of the, classification, regression, clustering, there's multiple different algorithm, and you need to consider about the accuracy, the fast training time, the linearity to select it. And in each of the algorithm, there's a link, and please go in and double check. And as Muhammad Ali said, like these are very, very difficult. So I don't think I should go in each details to explain for you guys because I myself might get the wrong answer. But then basically there's a table on Microsoft, and each of these it link out like which one is have the good accuracy, fast training time, linear. I think I forgot to include the link. I'll edit it again so you can base on those. Oh, actually I do have the link. You can base on those to determine which one we use, and it's here. Oh, your logistic regression with different probabilities. Huh. Let me think. Well, logistic regression. Yes, logistic regression is a part of classification, right? So, yes. So, logistic regression is a part of classification. Yes. So, the answer for text sentiment analysis is still classification. It's a very confusing name, right? When you see logistic regression, you thought it would be in regression, but it actually in classification. I got that wrong a couple of times. Yes, so please look at it here for to see the Microsoft classify on accuracy, training time, linearity parameter, and some notes of that. Yes, linear regression is regression, and logistic regression is classification. Yes, it's very easy to make mistake. I did a few times too. So, all right, let's move on to Azure Machine Learning Service. So, as you know by now, there's two main core service for AI processing in Microsoft Azure is Microsoft Azure Cognitive Service and Microsoft Azure Machine Learning. So in recently, Microsoft rolled out, and I hope it's not too small for you guys. Let me open this up. So Azure, they renamed their service. So before there's Machine Learning Studio, and it's the classic one, and now they changed it to Azure Machine Learning, um, which include Machine Learning Studio and other services as well. And the main difference is here. I highlight here is a little bit small, so you can go in here. So basically, the Machine Learning Studio is proprietary, so you cannot change, you cannot configure it. While Azure Machine Learning, you can change, you can configure it, you can have the GPU support on this. Oh, okay. Yes. Sorry, Yolanda. I think it's very late in your side. Don't worry. I'll put the recording. So and we only have like a few slides left, so you won't miss much. Don't worry. Yes. Have a good night, Yolanda. So so one of the from the talk this morning, one of the module you will be tested is the designer. So I want to quickly go through the designer to you guys, so you guys know what is designer is. Oh, you based in Europe, right, Kennedy? Europe is must be Europe because Kenya. Oh, nice. I didn't know Kenya is I think 7 hours apart then. Oh, so it's right. 7 hours. Okay, sorry. I'm very bad with geography. 4 hours. Oh, okay. I see. Oh, I didn't know that. Awesome. Now I learned something new. Thank you. So Azure Machine Learning, I list down some vocabularies that you need to know to some concepts, because what I have noticed in Microsoft from Microsoft is that for this exam, it's a concept based only. So well, not only but mainly concept based. So if you go through the concept here, you will do all right in the test. So please pay attention to the concept. I have listed some vocabulary here. Unfortunately, we won't have time to guess the meaning on the terms. It was one of the exercise that I was planned to do, but then I think we won't be able to. So at home, please try to guess the meaning of the term and then comparing it to the document. I think it will be the good way to for you to remember. And also, most of these are already highlighted in class, in the Udacity class. So it will be you if you go through the 2, 3, 4, you will get it. I just want to highlight here data set and data store. What do you guys think the difference between data set and data store? You give a quick guess. There's no wrong answer. What do you guys think is the difference between data set and data store? It's in lesson 3. Yes, and what is data set? You guess, no wrong answer. Yes, that's correct. So data store, yes. So data set is for the data that you use to extract the meaning from. So it can be table, it can be some form of JSON data, anything that you use to extract the meaning from. And data store is the storage for your data. So lesson 3, please revise on that. Okay. Azure Machine Learning Designer, you need to know the interface, because in the questions there will be one where you ask to like well they will give you the screenshot like this, and they will ask you to matching terms. So for example, like in which step you will split the data, in which step you will train, and which step you will. So basically what they're asking you is this, the process of machine learning workflow, but then they give you the interface so that you can arrange the step. So remember this, go through the workflow and try to be familiar with the learning designing. All right, so Azure Machine Learning Designer, basically they have three components: the left navigation plane, the center, and the right plane. So the left navigation, so you hear here, the center is where you have like the drag and drop action, and the right center is where you have the properties of the file. So the left navigation, what it does, it lists all of the Azure machine learning module that can be used to create a predictive analysis. The center is where you drag and drop, and the right is for the properties. So the properties of the select module. All right, please remember this because this will be in the exam. Despite that, they say that is for preview. Okay, there's one area that I haven't had a chance to clarify with Sandeep is the enterprise versus the basic edition, because I do see in other Azure exams that there's questions on the which features include in enterprise and which features include in the basic edition only. But I forgot to ask that, so I put it in here. You know, for labeling, label a seed with image classification and objection. You know, drift, which is one of the term here. If you forgot what drift is, double check on the term. Yes, data drift is one of the vocabularies. So if you got it confused, please go check on the link provided. So drift is for enterprise. AutoML, mostly for enterprise. Build and train capabilities. So machine learning pipelines is mostly for enterprise. Security, most are free besides quota management is enterprise only. So take a look at this just in case if they have that module. And I think that's it for the session today. Most of the quiz that I plan to have is for Udacity, so I didn't see the point of copy and paste it here, because you can go to the session 234, which cover the Azure machine learning, and you can do it. So good luck everyone for the exam, and I think I'll have a few Q&A if you are interested in the asking for more information. Else I think our class is conclude today. And for the next week, I'll take on the PL-100. Let me quickly introduce you to the exam because it's having a discount right now, and it's from Power Platform, which I use daily in my work. So I thought like it would be very useful for people to learn also, because it's really helped me on automate workflow from like database to like end user. So I'll spend 2 minutes to introduce on that. Microsoft Learning PL-100. So yes, Microsoft is pushing for their Power Platform. So before it's used to nest it under Dynamics 365, they are splitting it out. So they are giving like 3-4 new exams, depends on your level. So this PL-900 is the basic, is the easiest one. PL-100 is for business, so you do need to know how to apply the services, and there's higher one. So basically, this one is better, and the last day to take is the 14th. So in 2 weeks, and I'm going to have the session on the 8, 9, and I think 16. So 3 sessions on this. So if you are interested to join, then it's the same time next week. All right, I think. Oh no, what happened? Am I still on? Yes, I'm still on. Okay, so if you guys have Q&A, let me know, or else our class is finished for today.
So, Jen.
Yes.
This is Kennedy. So after doing the AI 900, I'd want to do AI 900. I'd want to do the DL 100. So
Oh,
what's your take about
you mean DP
that DL?
100, right?
Yeah, yeah.
This one. Oh, this one is for data scientists. Do you want to take all the easier one though? Because in September, Microsoft is giving out discount for these related data certificate DP 300, DA 100, DP. I think I think yeah. Let me see. Yeah. So basically, they're giving out like DP 900 and DA 100 in the upcoming September. Do you want to take DP 900 first and then DB 100?
I haven't checked them out on what they are about, but I can Google just now,
Yeah,
maybe.
so let me show
So
you the content of DP 100 so you
okay,
know why. Yeah, so you know why I recommend to DP 900 first. So let me open.
okay, for the P900, I've seen the P900. I already did the Azure fundamentals 2 months ago.
Yes. So basically, DP 900 is more about database. But then why I recommend people to do DP 900 before DP 100? Because number one, because Microsoft is giving discount, so $15. You cover both of your component on AI and DP. So number two is DP 100. You see here, you need to design and implement data science, design and implement. So basically you need to know about the Azure platform. You need to know about the database platform, which is what DP 900 cover. So you see like data store, like there are a lot of questions on data store, on instance, on the pipeline. So that's why I recommend if you have time, then you can go through DP 900 and then DP 100.
Yeah.
Yes. But
Okay.
from the survey that I put out,
Okay.
people also interested in DP 100. So I think what I will
Yeah.
do is I'll make a group of people who interested in joining and also prepare the content. Then we can take turn to do class activities and content like this. So we'll join together and learn together. I think it's a better way than for me to just showing the slides and everyone. Hear and attend on it, because you want to retain all of information at the end of the day. It's better to have everyone to join in together so you can retain the information better.
That's true.
Yes. So like in here you have like a lot of terms that related to data science. Well, sorry, not data science, data engineer. So that's why I recommend that people go to DP 900 before this. So you have some knowledge in data and some data storage, data set and stuff. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
Yes. So we will have the group study on it also, and I think it will be after the 14th. I'll try to finish my exam this week, and then I'll create a group there to have people input, and then we will launch that group on the 22nd. Oh, I have a question actually. So when is our scholarship class end? Do you guys know? Is it on the end of September, right? Yes, 17th of September.
Ask again. Okay.
Yes. So well, if we got to have that class, then we will have. I think the good length for class is 4 or 5 sessions, because longer than that people lose focus. So we can have like a crash group on the study for the DP 100, and maybe we have like once a week, so we can have like 22nd, 29th, 5th, punctual, then we will be on time for our graduation for this class. Yes. So I'll make a group and I'll tell everyone more. You saw the survey on the channel, right, Kennedy? I put out a survey on to see what the people want to study next for the certificate.
Yes, I did.
Yes.
Yes, I did and voted for the P100 already.
Oh, yes, yes, awesome. Then we will have the group soon. I think it's very good because right now, I have been checking on other trainers, and there's not many trainers who are doing this kind of data certificate preparation. So we could be the pioneer for this group. So it would be very interesting to see also. Yes.
Yeah, true.
Yes, so let's hope on that. All right, so I think, do you guys have any other questions? Awesome, and thanks for the resource. Okay, I think that's it for our session today. Yes, thank you everyone. Hope you have a nice weekend, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, bye-bye.
Bye bye, Jen. Bye.
Bye,
Thanks so
everyone.
much.
Thank you.